Skinwalkers, entities deeply ingrained in Navajo folklore, have long been the subject of terrifying tales whispered in the darkness. These malevolent beings, believed to be witches who possess the ability to transform into animals, evoke fear and dread in those who dare to speak of them. Countless stories of encounters with these creatures passed down through generations serve as cautionary tales of the dangers that lurk in the desolate landscapes. Brace yourself, for if you haven't felt the chill of horror before, you'll shiver with fear after delving into the spine-tingling encounters recounted in this video. But beware, if you're easily scared, perhaps it's best not to brave this journey alone. Let's begin. They're real. Skinwalker Encounter Horror Stories. Story 1. The Night Encounter in Arizona. In the heart of the Arizona desert, beneath a canopy of stars, I found myself drawn to the celestial spectacle of a meteor shower. The date was August 14th, and the night held promises of cosmic wonders. As I stood outside my house, alone in the stillness of the desert night, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. At first, the desert seemed tranquil, but then came the odd noises, crunching branches and strange whispers, as if the desert itself held secrets untold. Despite my unease, I brushed off the peculiar sounds, attributing them to the mysteries of the night. Yet as the night wore on, the sense of foreboding only grew stronger. A feeling of dread gripped me, like a weight pressing down on my chest. And then, from the darkness, came a voice. A soft, feminine whisper calling out my name, Noah. My heart raced, and fear coursed through my veins as I realized the truth. I was not alone in the desert that night. That night, the eerie presence seemed to follow me home, manifesting as faint whistling and flute music from my backyard. Every knock on the back door sent waves of fear coursing through me, each sound a chilling reminder of the inexplicable events unfolding outside. With trembling hands, I secured every entry point, desperate to keep the unseen terror at bay. But despite my efforts, the night dragged on, haunted by the lingering presence that seemed to seep through the walls. It was a night I would never forget, a night that left me questioning the boundaries between reality and myth. In the aftermath of my encounter, I felt compelled to share my story, to warn others of the dangers that lurked in the darkness of the desert night. If you ever hear weird sounds or whispers in the desert, don't ignore them. Trust your gut and get to safety fast. Don't mess with strange things or creatures you don't know. They could be dangerous. Keep an eye out, especially in remote places where it's hard to get help. If you come across something spooky, don't hesitate. Trust your instincts and get out of there as soon as you can. It's better to be safe than sorry. Desert nights held a familiar allure for me. I savored the tranquility of remote places under the expansive desert sky. However, after that eerie encounter, my caution heightened. I found myself venturing into remote areas less frequently than before. Even though encounters with skinwalkers were rare, that one unsettling night was enough to last me a lifetime. Story 2. The Terrifying Snipe Hunt in the Wisconsin Woods. Every year we embarked on our cherished tradition, the snipe hunt. It was a time of joy and laughter, a family tradition that filled me with anticipation and excitement. Under the guidance of my father and his adventurous friend Billy, armed with sticks and wooden swords, we set out into the wilderness. Little did I know, that year would etch an unforgettable memory in my mind. As dusk descended and the shadows lengthened, the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. Billy, ever the prankster, regaled us with tales of elusive snipes lurking in the trees, their bird-like forms concealed in the darkness. With bated breath, we followed our guides deeper into the woods, our imaginations running wild with visions of the mythical creatures. Suddenly, a rustle in the trees shattered the silence, sending a jolt of adrenaline coursing through our veins. Billy, covered in red, emerged from the foliage, his cries of alarm igniting pandemonium among the children. In a frenzy of fear and excitement, we scattered into the woods, seeking refuge in the sanctuary of the trees. Perched high in a tree, concealed by the comforting embrace of a bush, I peered cautiously through the foliage, my heart pounding in my chest. And then, I saw it, a grotesque figure, resembling a deformed dog, its elongated legs and patchy fur sending shivers down my spine. Mesmerized yet repulsed, I watched as the creature moved with an unnatural grace, emitting faint moans that echoed through the night. Suddenly, a voice pierced the darkness, calling my name with chilling clarity. Frozen in terror, I locked eyes with the creature, its gaze penetrating to the core of my being. Only the firm grasp of my father's hand broke the spell, pulling me from the grip of fear and confusion. As we made our way back to camp, I recounted my encounter to my father, my mind reeling with disbelief and uncertainty. Was it a trick of the imagination, a figment of childish fear, or was it something more sinister, lurking in the shadows of the woods? Years passed, yet the memory haunted me, lingering in the recesses of my mind like a ghostly specter. It wasn't until I stumbled upon tales of skinwalkers that the pieces fell into place, the pieces of a puzzle I had long struggled to solve. To this day, I cannot say with certainty what I saw that night, but the lingering sense of dread serves as a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks within the depths of the forest. Now, as I wander the wooded trails, the memory of that night looms ever present, a silent specter watching from the shadows. And though I may never know the truth of what lurked in the darkness, I carry with me the wisdom of experience, a beacon of caution in the wilderness. Story 3. Haunted cabin in the Canadian wilderness. Nestled deep within the serene wilderness of Canada, our cabin stood as a sanctuary of solitude, a haven where my family and I embraced the tranquility of forest life. For nearly a decade, we thrived in isolation, surrounded by the majestic beauty of nature, our days filled with the simple joys of tending to our farm and relishing the company of our close-knit community of neighbors. Yet, amidst the idyllic peace of our secluded abode, a shadow of unease began to loom, casting doubt upon the serenity we had grown to cherish. It started one fateful night as I sat alone in our living room, the soft glow of lamplight illuminating the pages of my book. The sudden commotion of our cattle, usually docile at this hour, roused me from my reverie, drawing my gaze to the window overlooking our backyard. In the dim moonlight, I beheld a sight that sent a shiver down my spine. A towering figure, obscured by the shadows, its eyes fixed upon our home with an unsettling intensity. Though its form was cloaked in darkness, an ominous presence emanated from the creature, stirring a sense of dread within me. Unable to shake off the unnerving encounter, I retreated from the window, seeking solace in the familiarity of my book. Weeks passed, and life returned to its usual rhythm, until the night my wife awakened me with a trembling voice, her fear palpable in the stillness of the cabin. Together we listened in silence as an ominous sound reverberated through the night, a haunting echo, like the slow scrape of a stick against wood, encircling our cabin with sinister intent. Gripped by apprehension, I armed myself with my hunting rifle, determined to confront whatever lurked in the darkness. With bated breath, I surveyed the perimeter of our home, my senses heightened by the palpable tension in the air. And there, in the darkness beyond, stood the same enigmatic figure, its gaze fixed upon me with an unblinking intensity. Confounded by the inexplicable presence of the creature, I retreated indoors, consumed by a gnawing sense of unease. Desperate for answers, I embarked on a journey to seek counsel from our neighbor, hoping to shed light on the mysteries that plagued our once peaceful existence. Yet my encounter with the deer on the forest path shattered whatever semblance of normalcy remained, plunging me into a realm of fear and uncertainty. As I confided in my neighbor, he shared tales of Navajo skinwalkers, beings of malevolent intent who lurked in the shadows, haunting those who dared to disturb their domain. Haunted by the specter of that fateful night, I grappled with the weight of my newfound knowledge, my once peaceful existence forever marred by the specter of the unknown. Though time has passed and we have since relocated to a more populated area, the memory of that encounter continues to haunt me, a silent reminder of the darkness that lurks beyond the safety of civilization. I never imagined that the paradise I enjoyed with my family for years would turn into my worst nightmare for the rest of my life. Story 4: The Haunted Road. This story is a bit different from our other stories. It's the tale of a brave girl who courageously encountered the skinwalkers, fully aware of their presence. Once upon a time, nestled in the heart of a remote town surrounded by dense forests, there lay a desolate road shrouded in mystery and fear. Whispers of its haunting origins echoed through the town, warning all who dared to venture down it after nightfall. Legend had it that this road was home to a skinwalker. It was said that the skinwalker's presence was the result of a dark pact made by settlers seeking wealth and power. Despite the warnings, there were always a few daring souls willing to test fate and brave the haunted road. Among them was a young woman named Shweta, fascinated by the supernatural and drawn to tales of the unknown. She couldn't resist the urge to uncover the truth behind the rumors. One fateful night, armed with nothing but courage and curiosity, Shweta set out to explore the infamous road. The eerie glow of her headlights pierced through the darkness as she navigated the deserted highway, the dense forest looming ominously on either side. As she reached the midpoint of the road, a chill ran down Shweta's spine, and an unsettling feeling washed over her. She couldn't shake the sensation that unseen eyes were watching her every move. Determined to press on, she tried to dismiss her growing unease. But then, she heard it, the unmistakable sound of twigs snapping and leaves rustling behind her. Panic seized Shweta as she realized she was being followed. With her heart racing, she floored the accelerator, desperate to outrun whatever lurked in the shadows. Yet, no matter how fast she drove, the ominous sounds grew louder, drawing closer with each passing moment. Glancing in her rearview mirror, Shweta's worst fears were confirmed. A figure, shrouded in darkness, was rapidly closing in on her. In a moment of clarity, Shweta remembered the ancient tales of the Skinwalker's vulnerability to silver. Digging through her glove compartment, she unearthed a silver necklace, clutching it tightly in her trembling hand. With her pulse pounding in her ears, Shweta pulled over to the side of the road and stepped out of her car, confronting the approaching entity with resolve. Holding out the silver necklace like a talisman, she braced herself for the inevitable confrontation. Suddenly, the creature emerged from the shadows, its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. Shweta stood her ground, offering the silver necklace as protection against the malevolent force. In a moment of eerie silence, the creature recoiled, emitting a spine-chilling scream before morphing into a black wolf and vanishing into the night. Trembling with a mixture of fear and relief, Shweta retreated to the safety of her car, her heart still racing from the encounter. As she drove back to town, she vowed never to tread the haunted road again, haunted by the memory of the Skinwalker's chilling presence. In the years that followed, Shweta's harrowing tale morphed into a cautionary legend, a stark reminder of the dangers concealed in the shadows. Despite the passage of time and the gradual fade of memory, the legend of the haunted road and the Skinwalker endured. It stood as a testament to the enduring grip of fear and the enigmatic depths of the unknown, serving as a chilling reminder for those who dared to traverse the mysterious paths that lie beyond. Story 4. Whistling in the Arizona Mountains. In the vast expanse of Arizona's rugged terrain, I embarked on a solitary hike back in 2015, seeking solace amidst the tranquil embrace of nature. The trail meandered through a patch of desert, before ascending a medium-sized mountain, culminating in a picturesque walk through the serene canyon lake. For me, these long, solitary treks were a sanctuary, a means of escaping the tumult of everyday life and immersing myself in the serenity of the wilderness. As I ventured deeper into the wilderness, I couldn't shake the feeling of isolation that enveloped me. The trail, obscured by thick bushes and faded into obscurity, seemed to lead me into an untouched realm of untamed wilderness. Yet undeterred by the path thus obscurity, I pressed onward, drawn by the promise of solitude and adventure. However, the further I delved into the wilderness, the more ominous the surroundings became. The once thriving trees now stood as silent sentinels of decay, their twisted branches casting eerie shadows across the desolate landscape. Undeterred by the foreboding atmosphere, I continued my journey, my senses attuned to the subtle whispers of the wind. It was then that I heard it, a faint melodic whistle echoing through the silence, sending shivers down my spine. Dismissing it as a mere trick of the wind, I pressed on, my footsteps echoing in the desolate wilderness. Yet, the whistle persisted, growing louder and closer with each passing moment, until its haunting melody enveloped me in a cloak of unease. Determined to uncover the source of the mysterious sound, I forged ahead, my pocket knife clenched tightly in my hand. As I navigated through the dense undergrowth, my senses on high alert, I stumbled upon a curious sight, a small valley nestled amidst the wilderness, its depths shrouded in shadow. In the heart of the valley stood a crude den, fashioned from large sticks and branches, its construction betraying the presence of a sentient being. A sense of foreboding washed over me as I realized that I was not alone in this desolate wilderness, that something or someone was watching me from the shadows. My heart pounding with fear, I turned to flee, only to be confronted by a sight that chilled me to the core, a massive goat, its eyes boring into mine with an unnatural intensity. Frozen in place, I watched in horror as the creature emitted the same haunting whistle that had plagued me throughout my journey. With a surge of adrenaline, I bolted down the mountain, my footsteps echoing in the silence as I raced toward the safety of the trailhead. Though I never spoke of my harrowing encounter, the memory of that fateful hike haunted me, a reminder of the unseen dangers that lurked within the wilderness. As I reflect upon that chilling experience, I am vividly reminded of the ancient legends that speak of skinwalkers, malevolent beings that roam the wilderness, assuming the forms of animals to prey upon unsuspecting travelers and instilling fear in the hearts of those who dare to wander into the unknown. Though I may never know the truth of what I encountered that day, one thing remains clear: they're real. If you enjoyed hearing about these eerie experiences, don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel for more scary content.